Hey random stranger, we are finally getting to Hololive Indonesia or ID, and I have heard a lot about how great these girls are in terms of their singing, especially after the last Holofest performance where apparently they stole the entire show. So today we're going to be starting off with Moona Hoshinova, and we'll be listening to her original songs in the order that they were released, so it'll be interesting to see if there are any differences as she's progressed. First song is I no Chiisana Uta, which was released back in February of 2021, so it's actually been quite a while. Here we go. Do we have like a classic piano ballad on our hands? Oh, it's very stripped back. Those bells. Okay, getting a little bit more now. Oh. Oh, nice switch to the major key there with that raised third. Ooh. Oh, that was strange. It kind of made my ears tingle a bit. Harmonization in her vocals is nice. Okay. Ooh. Oh, interesting piano run. Okay. Alright, let's just pause here before verse 2. Off the bat, I like how soothing Moona's voice is, and in fact, so far, I think her vocals are the strongest element in this track because parts of the instrumentation for me is actually weakening the song. In particular, the synth strings that they've overlaid on top of the acoustic piano and the vocal lines, those are creating a very noticeable dissonance, but not the pleasant kind, more the harsh, unpleasant kind of dissonance. In particular, this part in the chorus. So if you pay attention to the synths there, yeah, it's just the dissonance there isn't great. The way that they've used the notes to clash with each other. It's just, again, it might be easier if I just show you on the piano. So dissonance refers to notes that clash in order to create a sense of instability or tension in the music. And they sound like they want to resolve to a more consonant state of rest. So a really easy example would be this. Basically, dissonance is used just to add more interesting tonal color. For reasons that cognitive scientists are still trying to figure out, certain clashing notes complement the underlying consonants or like the feel of a chord better. So for example, your classic C major 7 chord contains that clashing 7th interval of the C and the B. But when played together or as a chord with other notes, it just gives off that pleasant, very crunchy, dissonant tone that also leads nicely to other consonant chords. However, certain combinations of dissonant notes are generally avoided even in jazz music because they're just too dissonant. Again, for example, with the C major 7, notes that create a flat 9 interval, so that tends to be avoided because it just really distorts that warm, distinctive quality of a C major 7 chord. So nice. You just hear how like your ears kind of pick up that really harsh sound and you're like, ugh, it's a little bit too much. Dominant chords, so, well, this is the most basic one, but also like dominant chords, they are more flexible because they're considered to be more dissonant. So you can add all sorts of extensions to dominant chords and they'd still sound pretty good. Even then, certain note combinations can ruin the harmonic quality of a dominant chord. So with that progression that we just played, yeah, even with dominant chords, there is a limit to how much dissonance you want in there. Of course, what's considered too dissonant and what you should avoid is to some extent subjective. Maybe artistically you are going for that incredible harshness in tone because you're like scoring an extremely stressful, tense atmosphere. But I don't think Moona's song is about that. That's why in this part of the chorus, if you just focus on the synths, that part was fine. But yeah, here, in the chorus where harmonically sometimes the synths are creating this excessive dissonance against the piano and the vocals, it not only does it not complement the emotion of the song, but it does generate unnecessary noise that I think actually detracts from it. Yeah, let's keep going. There's this weird part. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So the song is in F minor. And then just throw out of the blue this D natural, or what sounds like part of the E flat major, into the mix in the lower part of the piano accompaniment. So yeah, I like that little spicy twist that they threw in there before it just reverts back to the like the F minor as if nothing ever happened. Okay, it's not so dissonant now, but those string synths are still making it sound like a MIDI background track or something. Moona's voice though is definitely saving it. I do like that sweeping lead in into this chorus. She's great. Okay, a small note about the synths there. The progression is kind of really corny. Okay, so recreate the synth part. It's like. I mean, you. It's maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but like the rising up and falling down the scale like that is like a really ham-fisted way, really corny way of like scoring some emotional points. And I don't know why, it just stuck out to me a lot. And I was like, man, I wish they'd done that in a more subtle way that actually helps add to the emotion of the music instead of, I guess, make it too over the top. I do like that acoustic piano a lot though. Man, I wish those synths weren't there. Whoa, key change. Oh, another one. Damn. Oh. Da, 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 da. Oh, I mean, Moona's harmonization is very on point. Damn, that acoustic piano is just going off. God damn you, synths. I feel like the synths just... sorry to say, kind of ruined the song for me. Do you hear this? This is... Whoa! Oh, nice crunchy major twist in there again. Whew. Oh man, I think if there's one sentence that would summarize my feelings towards this song, it'd be like, Moona amazing, acoustic piano amazing, brought down by those damn synths. So let's head back to that interesting transition section that then led into the final, very climactic bridge and then the last chorus. Okay, just those couple of seconds. Again, kind of a pretty cheesy chord progression, but it's fine. So you have that lead up to the, what was it? You have the lead up to the raised seventh of the F melodic minor, which gives it that bright, almost like major sounding tone, which sets it up for the next, I guess, upping of the emotion. Unfortunately, what it leads to are these synths again. Okay, so why I'm always harping on about the synths and why I feel like the synths actually mar the quality of the overall track is they're just so choppy and I guess clumsy, especially with that part, the synths again, trying to create that tension with this weird upwards progression. Not weird, it's just corny. So the synth part there, just that upwards progression that features sort of like these cascading, mostly downwards filler notes. Again, but it's just very choppy and very on the nose cheesy. Honestly, I think it would have been better off with the piano only. Something else, like anything else really, like would have been better compositionally. But okay, this part of the key change, again, kind of cheesy, but I feel like we're used to that by now. So after that bright sounding like C chord, which is the dominant of the F minor, it then takes us up to the E, which of course is the leading note of the F minor. So we kind of expect it to lead to the F minor, but instead, if we go back to so it was like a C, leading note E, like it just, instead of going to the F minor, it just hard cuts to an unrelated key, the D major. Direct key changes, that is key changes that go to unrelated keys, are totally fine. I just feel like with the cheesiness of the synths that led up to that, the sudden drop in dynamics before that direct key change, sort of without any melodic or harmonic build-up, all of that just added together to make it, again, a bit clumsy. But you know what? They had to take the song somewhere new. I mean, it's over like 5 minutes long. It's this gut-wrenching ballad. So fair enough, you know, they had to do something. Again, maybe part of this is personal preference. You might like these really just wrenching, direct, hard, really corny progressions and key changes, but it did, I guess, subtract a little from the song for me. Which takes us to this mostly major, very positive sounding bridge, which I quite liked. Big dramatic pause. Yeah, so this bridge, you know, because it had that sort of major E sort of tone, it made for a nice contrast to the mostly minor sounding previous sections, while also maintaining or remaining tethered to the quality of the song by throwing in minor chords every now and then. So that was cool. And then this last chorus, that just starts on the A major, just on such a bright note. Man, Moona's voice is great for those soaring moments. So much better without the synths. Ooh, that nice dissonance in this part. Nice. That was cool. That was a crunchy ending. Again, there's just that sprinkling of the major into like a predominantly minor run. And then just how this run is like really abruptly cut off. There's a bit of silence, and then that downwards arpeggiated chord. Yeah, it's pretty classy. Overall, melodically, I think it was a decent ballad that showcased how solid Moona's voice is. Personally, I would have loved if they'd just have her sing over a pure piano backing, because she carried the emotion of the song so well, especially during those climactic moments and those sustained soaring notes. Also, that acoustic piano was just freaking awesome. And I did like much better the parts where it was just Moona and the acoustic piano. I can appreciate that the song doesn't shy away from using these cheesy compositional choices to emotionally charge the song. In some ways, it resembles classic 1980s ballads that just unapologetically threw out like cheesy runs and synths and sort of like punch you in the face key modulations. There is a fine line between being too cheesy and then being effective at conveying raw emotion. So it partly, I guess, comes down to personal preference and whether you like that cheesiness or not. The song is rough in terms of how the synths were integrated. At times, the chord voicings clashed quite unpleasantly with the other parts, and then other times the arrangement of the accompaniment just sounded a bit amateurish. And amateur not in the sense that it's awful, but in the technical sense where the song could have benefited from further refining of the composition and I guess the mixing and also just the choice of instrumentation. However, I do acknowledge that this is a relatively early song of Moona's, and I appreciate that, well, I appreciate how most Hololive talents don't have the budget to spend on big time songwriters and producers and musicians. Not that that always helps anyway. So, look, I'm listening to this without knowing any of the context around what it took for Moona to even release her own first original track. Nor do I know much of her personal journey because I haven't really watched any of her streams. So, as with any Hololive song that I've analysed, I just want to note that regardless of any musical or technical critique that you can apply to it, nothing and absolutely nothing takes away from the nostalgic value of the song, especially if you're a fan who has followed her from the beginning and you just know how much blood and sweat and tears it took for them to even get to this point. Moona's second song, High Tide. Here we go. Great angsty broken chords right away. Much better use of electronic sounds and those synths. Oh man. Whoa. Oh, that breathiness in her voice. Double time. Oh, yes. Ooh, interesting. I love that suspended beat drop that they're adding every like 3 bars or so. The holy shit, those trap horns. Shit, that is a winner first verse and chorus. When I pull like this phase, it just means I am digging that beat and the vocals so much. This is so far from the first track that we just came from that I am just having a breakdown. I just need to go back and quickly note down some of the things that are jumping out at me because my muso senses are just tingling and super impressed with some of the detail in this production. Okay, let's just go back to that piano intro. Okay, so for the first 8 bars, that piano intro features these high-pitched broken chords that are played in the right hand, like the... While in the left hand, it's these low-pitched octaves. That are sustained for an entire bar, which like creates this very somber atmosphere of suspense that is also enhanced by that reverb that you hear on the piano. There's a slight echo, which was such a great setup for the next 8 bars, or like the first half of verse 1, because following on the heels of that somberness is just this sudden introduction of trap elements, which is such a surprise. In particular, that like heavy 808 bass plus the snare that comes in on the first beat of every second bar. Okay, let's just listen to that bass again with the snare. Boom, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 2, 3, 4. Spacing out that bass snare combo every second bar builds on and adds to that suspense that was set up in the piano intro. Basically, just a lot of held notes in different forms in order to create that suspense. So at this stage, we've had 16 bars of just suspenseful instrumentation and build up. So when the beat drops around here, boom, along with like the 16th and 32nd note trap hi-hats, there's just a feeling of satisfaction, like that 16 bar wait was worth it, and we've got this like awesome meaty beat to groove to. TLDR, it was just great musical setup. Hey, I love when Rita's saying the word high. She lets it hang in the air for a bit, and also the instrumentals too. They are suspended with her in the air for about 2 whole beats. So we're given 8 bars of that satisfying groove to beat to, but then immediately in this next 8 bars, which takes us to the first pre-chorus, that ramps up the tension with the bass kicking in on every single beat and then speeding up with this double time. Classic trap build up, which is great. Moona kills it with those long drawn out notes that span 3 whole bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 bars. Yeah, so essentially it's just a simple stepping up and down of the G minor scale, right? She's only going, and then the next phrase. But the embellishments that she adds in her tone, and also the way she hardens her tone really matches the intensity of the bass and then the double time that's happening in the instrumentals. Yeah, the way she jumped up to that falsetto after that first sustained note and then immediately jumps back down again for the second note was pretty impressive. Some of my favorite parts of the chorus, one was that use of the suspended beat drop, which is a type of syncopation where the instrumental comes in on a weak beat of the bar, in this case the second beat. So if we start from here and count the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Because we are so used to instrumentals coming in on the strong beats, so the 1 and the 3, when it drops on the 2 instead, it creates like this surprising pull in the music, almost like gravity has been like suspended for an instant, or actually like Moona is literally singing in the lyrics, she is the gravity just pulling you in because only she is singing over the first beat, which is the strong beat. The other cool way that the music complemented the lyrics was when Moona sang the lyrics, the tide begins to rise to the top. So on the word rise, if you notice how she sings it, rise, not only does she sing it with a literal like rise in her tone, but the chord played on the word rise is like the G major. So G major is like the parallel major of G minor, which is what the song is predominantly in. So switching that certain note to the G major just gives it that like extra bright spark, and it's like, oh, there's like a rise in the tone. She's literally singing about rising to the top. The way Moona reverberated her voice on the tide was great. Badass. Just vocally overall, I think she sounds much stronger than in the first track. It partly may have to do with the fact that this is a very power trap track, and so there's just a lot more room for her to show off the kinds of things that she can do on those long sustained notes. I swear this is the last musical note on the chorus, but another way that they played with the theme of gravity pulling on you is that just before verse 2 drops, they suddenly cut off the beat. Here's the end of the chorus. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. It's like the instrumentals and then Moona come in at just a totally random offbeat moment, so you kind of like lose your musical footing for a moment there. The only way for you to get your feet back on the ground is to just go along with this new count that Moona has set. So I love that the chorus is packed with moments where the music actually reinforces the lyrics and Moona's centrality as the badass pulling you in like gravity. 3 4 1 2 3 4. I can be a bright enigma. It's no surprise, yeah. But you give me into the brilliance. Oh, brilliance! That was great. I like that broken like G-7 chord that's happening in the synths as well. She sounds so strong. Okay, just a couple of notes. I liked how for this verse 2 they added subtle differences that differentiated it from verse 1. Moona did some cool vocal ad-libs. There was like that syncopated boom boom of the bass and the snare. Boom boom. Also light electro sound effects, not going overboard, but just doing enough to vary the verse in interesting ways. Something interesting there in the bass line of the pre-chorus. Okay. It sounds like the bass line is written almost as a counterpoint to Moona's vocal line. So I've transcribed the bass line and the vocal lines of the pre-chorus so you can see just how rhythmically similar they are. Basically, both of them have very similar rhythmic structure and are mostly harmonically consonant, but the bass line does retain some degree of melodic independence. So you get that nice part where it's almost like handing over of the melody from Moona to the bass line and then back to Moona again. So you can hear that if we play this transcribed bit. Harmonically consonant, here's the handover, and then back up to Moona again. And then they sync again for that last leg of the pre-chorus. This part of the melody where the bass goes up to that E natural. I'll just play E natural of the G melodic minor. Again, just gives the melody a bright twist. And another tiny but significant source of tension in that pre-chorus. Arguably though, the greatest source of harmonic tension in the pre-chorus is the appearance of the devil's tone in two quite significant places. So the first is in the bass line. The jump between these two notes, that jump, which we call a diminished fifth, is also known as a devil's tone. And the devil's tone appears again, actually very strongly on these last two notes of the bass and Moona's vocal line. So together, that again creates a devil's tone. And the devil's tone is something that we've covered in Toa's album analysis. It essentially gets its name from how historically composers avoided this musical interval entirely because of its extreme dissonance and reputation as just a super evil, badass, tension-filled sound. So ironically, it's smack bang in the middle of a perfect fourth and a perfect fifth, which are the most consonant sounding intervals in the Western 12-tone system. It's right in the middle of those two. Basically just read this as an incredibly badass, super tension-filled interval. So to end the pre-chorus on the devil's tone, that's created by putting together the bass note of that C sharp and Moona's vocal line of the G. Was a great choice. It's not so in your face that it's jarring, but it's present enough to intensify that part that leads into the chorus. The devil's tone. Boom. Ugh. Suspended beat drops. That's why it makes this beat so dirty. Those trap horns too. Super dirty. Great ethereal tone. Hey. Hey. Ooh. Great. Those like pop queen ad-libs. Nice. Nice, Moona. That was amazing. I am super impressed with High Tide. I think I'm smiling ear to ear because for me, the vocals and the production are pretty much near perfection. It would have taken a lot to top what they put out. Kind of just one little tiny note from that amazing bridge with Moona just showing off her brilliant vocals. Here, yeah, it was cool how they reiterate like the broken chord of the piano from the introduction. That one, but it's incomplete and just trails off. It ends on the, I guess, using that unresolvedness to lead into the final chorus just really supercharged the impact of Moona coming in for the kill for that last chorus. All right, let's watch the High Tide MV. So one, we can just listen to the song in its full amazing glory and just bow before the queen and see if we can get anything else from, I guess, the lyrics. Just make sure they're turned on. Okay, here we go. Music and concept, Moona Hoshinova, just straight up bang. I love when artists are involved in their creative work. When you look up at the night sky, what do you see? The glowing beauty in the that red guy like a normie? Oh. So this is like her alter ego or maybe her VTuber personality. Ooh, that was so cool. I loved how that hand matched up to the trap element. That was great. Man. Even the MV syncs with the music, which syncs with the lyrics. Hey! Whoa. Oh, so is this like her envisioning what the future could be like if she just embraces her badass slash VTuber self, she will literally end up sitting on the throne. Okay, just quickly, I think the fact that she is singing about how her power and glory are hers and you're going to be bowing before her, it was just such a perfect visual in that chorus to go with the suspended beat drops that make Moona's vocals the gravity in the music. Again, like we said, because she's the only one that's actually singing over that strong beat. I can be a bright enigma. It's no surprise, yeah. But you give me into the brilliance, like I'm onto a light. Like a moth to a light. So unapologetically and self-confidently powerful. Just so sure of her allure. Okay, that was the red normie from the beginning, right? I guess, is she like fighting against the doubts that come from all the normies telling her that she can't be a powerful VTuber badass? Literally just blasting away that red dude. All the haters can just take a walk. Lost City? Like an Atlantis? I feel like this is like her in her depths of despair. Okay, the epicness of whatever conflict is playing out in the MV totally matches the tension that's present in the music. Okay, is there some secret message in that like constant flashing? Hololive Productions. Hey, that last shot of Moona was actually... It's her in sort of a human form, but now having like gained that power from the alter ego. So she's like combined, become one with, and just embraced her Hololive kick-ass self. That's awesome. I think having watched the MV, it's my first impression and strongest impression is that there was so much effort put into making sure the MV completely reflects the themes of the song. And then at the same time, the music itself is ensuring that those themes are reinforced in the tension and the techniques that are employed musically. So whenever all three of those things align, the lyrics or the concepts, the art in the MV and the music itself, technically it's musical nirvana, basically. It's song nirvana, whatever you want to call it, where everything aligns and you're like, damn, they really had a clear vision for what they wanted to convey through this art piece. Concluding remarks, High Tide is such a massive step up quality-wise from I know Chiisana Uta, which was like a pleasant enough song but wasn't extraordinary and did have like a few composition and production flaws. You know, count me unsurprised. I just feel like the more I listen to and analyze Hololive music, the more I've come to expect that these girls just bust their asses to keep on improving year on year, sometimes even month on month. And it does not surprise me at all that they just keep getting better and better over time because you put in the work and you see the results. I am curious to see how Moona would sing this live. I can imagine it having 10 times the power, especially with like a live band, and just the freedom that she can have in a live performance to add her other interesting touches to the vocals, especially with how much she leans into those power notes. And yeah, I'm very happy that I finally got to listen to this song after hearing so much about it. Okay, here we go. Moona's last track and also her latest release, Perisai Jitu. So, ikuzo.
Warna cerah yang terlihat, diriku mahir sembunyi rasa.
Some very jazzy dissonant chords. Love it.
Ku tutup rapat jadi rahasia. Satu dua kali ku tak apa-apa.
Yes! Funky jazz pop beat. I could totally vibe to this.
Punya air mata, kamu hanya pinta diri berikan tawar.
Interesting.
Wajah yang ku perisai
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Damn, that was fresh. I love her ha-ha-has.
sampai kapan ku begitu.
Ooh,
Malam
okay.
hari berwarna
First off, really dig in that syncopated instrumental in the background. That's really given the beat that groove. Essentially, if you break it down to its core, it's like the F sharp major 7 and then F minor 7. That's not exactly what's happening, but essentially it's this very syncopated dissonant chord backing that I love. Like, there's nothing extraordinary or weird or quirky about it. It just works for the vibe that the song is going for. That transition from the chorus to verse 2 was also pretty intriguing. Yeah, it's so short, like 2 bars, but then they include like a nice cascading progression downwards and that brilliant synth run up to the da-da, to the dominant, and then immediately breaking it down with that acoustic chord, which then leads into, I guess, the funky verse 2 again. Little touches like that surprisingly elevate a song. It just adds some character.
malam hari berwahana. Pikiran liar
She's got such a cool voice. It's a cool cat voice.
tak berusaha.
Always love some Moona harmonization.
Sekuat tenaga.
Da 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 da.
Ku tak apa-apa. Kamu pikir hidupku baik-baik saja. Siapa yang peduli? Ku punya air mata. Kamu hanya pinta diri berikan tawar.
Yes! Key change! Oh, that was a smooth key modulation.
Perisai Jitu. Tapi sampai kapan ku begitu? Aku bulan
Oh,
yang terangi
voice like honey.
malam-malammu yang sepi. Lalu siapa yang temani?
A lot of suspense in this music bit.
Ku pikul sendiri.
Perfection. I wouldn't change a thing about that bridge. Okay? Loving that electric piano solo. Just a bit of improv to add to the funk of this track. Loved how she harmonized the ha-ha-has. Man, Moona is all over those vocal ad-libs. God, I love how they're... Ooh. Ooh. I love that they're layering all of her vocals on top of each other. Just a thick blanket of Moona vocal goodness. What, is that it? Oh, what the? That track passed by in a blink of an eye. I was just so enjoying myself. I don't think I even made any useful commentary or technical inputs. It's such a vibey song, and the fact that I was just so immersed in the soundscape was brilliant. I think that just says everything you need to know about this track. Another A+ track from Moona. Overall, it's one of those tracks where the main instrumental backing with the simple syncopated synth chords and that funky bass line, it just creates like a free canvas for the vocalist, should they choose to do all sorts of interesting vocalizations and embellishments and runs, and Moona did all of those really well. It's a fun track to groove to, and they didn't overdo the transitions or the instrumentation. Plus, the song really put Moona in the driver's seat. Quick music theory primer on why that key change in the middle was so satisfying and kind of made my hair stand on end is because it modulated one semitone up by way of the diminished seventh. So it started in D flat major, which was the original key, modulated up to the D major by way of a very common mechanism. So just listen to it first and then we'll break it down. Yeah. So how you get from here to here, it's very simple. Start with your original key, D flat major, move to like the D flat diminished seventh chord, drop the top note down, a semitone, which creates like an inversion of the A major 7 chord, which naturally just wants to resolve to the D major. Alright, so do that again. D flat major, move to the diminished 7th chord, drop the top note down, a semitone, which creates that diminished 7th, which naturally just wants to resolve to the D major. Awesome things like that, you know, you don't need to know the music theory behind to enjoy sort of that shift in tone, but it's interesting to know nonetheless. Let's check out the MV. Oh, those are our gen mates. It's kind of dark vibes in the lyrics. Oh no. Oh, there's that classic lost in a crowd shot. It's curious that the lyrics aren't portraying the lightness and the bounciness of the music. I mean, this scene definitely matches the funkiness of the track, but it's actually, she's reflecting on the fact that that is just what's happening on the surface. There's all these feelings inside behind, you know, the person behind the VTuber persona that has all these doubts. All of these people just talking at them and expecting things from them. Ugh, this is actually incredibly somber and kind of sad. And so while they have to like cover up all of these things, they at the same time have to entertain people, because that is ostensibly their job. Oh, that like glitchiness in the background with the black. Man, I love this moment of reflection. Just kind of like a brief respite from the incessantness of, one, the music, but also too, I guess, the constant having to manage expectations and people's judgments of your work. Oh, there's that like kind of similar falling scene from High Tide. God, she is literally screaming at the skies for some kind of compassion, understanding. Okay, in black dress now. It's even more. Wait, what was that? Here, just go back a little bit. It's like that. So meta. Oh my gosh. The fact that it was the video and then that just glitching out, and here we are watching the same video. Okay, this. I feel bad kind of just grooving along to this funky beat. Like, it totally does not reflect the inner turmoil that is actually being sung about, and the face that these girls, or Moona, have to preserve just to protect themselves. Oh, whoa, that last quick shot. So this is obviously the happy smiley face, that's just a front, and then it just quickly, I couldn't even catch it, just that last shot of Moona back in, I guess, her normal outfit. This scene where she's sort of dancing in the virtual world, it progressively glitches as the song goes on. I don't know, I feel like there's such a sinister, there was really smart way to approach this creative concept where the music itself is really happy, positive. There's no like minor touches, it's all very straightforward funk pop. But the lyrics and the MV itself is telling a story that's beneath the surfacey happiness, and it's quite a dark story, like a very real one as well. With Hololive talents, or any VTuber with a massive fan base, immediately there's such a pressure that is foisted upon you just by virtue of you having to interact with so many people on such a regular basis, while at the same time being unable really to give too much of yourself away, because at the end of the day, for a normal person, you know, there's that respect of personal boundaries, but given this massive size of the number of people that they have to manage, it just inevitably there are those boundaries that get bled into. Certain controversies arise that shouldn't even be controversies. There's like internet wars, whatever. The main message and key takeaway from this song is that always remember that there is a real live human being behind the VTuber persona that you're a fan of, and also to just be really sympathetic or empathetic to the fact that they are dealing with a big mountain of expectations and pressure, and to just be aware of that and to respect that, and just really appreciate that they continue to entertain and put out these great songs and art pieces, and they were just lucky to have them. Yeah. That's it, guys. I have thoroughly enjoyed digging into Moona's music, and I think she's an exciting artist who is clearly getting better and better the more she hones her crafts, and has a lot of valuable things to say about the unique industry that she's in through her music. And on top of that, give her a fantastically produced track and she will just run with it and show that she has the vocal chops to infuse that music with a lot of character and power. She may not be the biggest vocal belter or the most technically performative, but those aren't the only marks of a really accomplished singer or artist. And two, with a voice as strong as Moona's, you can go so far and create some really impressive tracks if you have the right team and music production talent around you. And I think High Tide really nailed it. So I am looking forward to and hopeful for a full album from Moona one day, and I will definitely be there to listen to that. Lastly, thank you guys so much for dropping in again, and I will see you next time for some more Hololive music analysis. In the meantime, take care and have a good rest of the day.